and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of the Voices of the Continent on RTV International. And in the Voices of the Continent, we tackle the latest development happening in the African continent on the political and the culture, economic and the sports fronts happening in this continent. And in this episode, we're going to be tackling the African-Arab cooperation in the light of the outcome of the 21st senior officials meeting of the Coordination Committee of the African-Arab Partnership that was hosted by Egypt earlier this month. I'm Sahara Talawi, and stay tuned after this short break.
The Avenue of the Baobabs is a prominent group of massive baobab trees lining in an unpaved road between Morondova and Biloni's Siri Bihinia in western Madagascar. Stretching roughly 260 meters long, this iconic landmark features a grove of roughly 24 towering Andansonia grandideri trees, a species endemic to the island. These monumental specimens can reach heights of up to 30 meters and have survived for over 800 years. Known locally in the Malagasy language as Rinella, meaning mother of the forest, the trees are revered as both ecological treasures and sacred cultural symbols. Historically, these trees were part of a dense tropical forest that covered the region prior to extensive land clearing. As local populations grew, surrounding vegetation was removed for agriculture, leaving the massive baobab standing in striking isolation against the open landscape. Today, the site is one of Madagascar's most famous tourist destinations, attracting visitors worldwide who come to photograph the silhouette of the trees during sunrise and sunset. Beyond tourism, the trees serve practical purposes for local communities by yielding fruit rich in vitamin C and bark used for woven robes. Recognized for its profound ecological value, the region was granted temporary protected status in 2007 and officially designated a natural monument in 2015. Despite protection, conservationists continuously work to safeguard the remaining trees from agricultural runoff, bushfires, and climate-induced challenges.
Welcome back once again, and you're still on the Voices of the Continent, and starting our episode with our first news item of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Badr Abdel-Ati, reaffirmed Egypt's support for Sudan's unity, sovereignty and the territorial integrity and the national institutions during a phone call with his Sudanese counterpart Mohamed Salim. And the Ministry of the Foreign Affairs said in a statement that the call on the bilateral relations and the developments between the two countries in Sudan as part of the continuing consultation between the two countries. Abdel-Ati stressed the importance of ensuring that the political process is entirely Sudanese-owned, preserving the country's state's resources and institutions, meeting the Sudanese people's aspirations for security and stability. Since the war between the Sudanese Armed Forces, SAF, and the parliamentary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, began on April 15, 2023, scores have been killed and millions has been displaced, both with Sudan and across its border, including into Egypt. And to the health authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo intercepted a passenger boat near the Kinshasa after a former traveler died from the symptoms matching the Ebola virus. The specialist medical teams quarantined the vessel and conducted the clinical screenings and laboratory tests on the passengers aboard. Following the investigation, testing confirmed that all suspected cases were negative for Ebola, easing public panic in the capital. And officials subsequently decontaminated the boat and expanded routine health screenings for incoming river traffic as a protective measures. And to the Egyptian Football Association, EFA, have submitted a bid to the Confederation of the African Football, CAF, to host the 2027 U23 African Cup of Nations. The championship serves as the qualifying tournament for the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. According to an official statement released by the governing body, the move forms part of a broader strategy to give the national teams the best possible home advantage ahead of the major national commitments. And to the hosts from Morocco, Algeria qualified for the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, the WAFCON semi-finals, and booked their spots in 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup in Brazil after securing the crucial quarter-final victories on August 8, 2026. Morocco defeated South Africa 2-1 in Rabat with goals from the 31st minute and the Hanan At-El-Hajj penalty in the 50th minute. Algeria overcome a first-half deficit to beat Cote d'Ivoire 2-1 in Casablanca, capitalizing on opponents' record to secure their historic Class 4 and World Cup berth. And to the capital of Nigeria's Kano State hosted the celebration for the mass wedding of 1,500 brides and grooms. The regional government has described the two-day event on Friday and Saturday as a way to help low-income families to cover marriage costs and support social stability. According to the state officials, the event was funded by the state's social welfare program and brought together couples from all the 44 local government areas. The state officials said that the goal is to lighten the financial load on families and give couples a start on building their households. Welcome back, and now let's take a look on the outcome of the latest African Arab Cooperation Committee that was held in Egypt this month and the meeting, and we're gonna see more details in the coming report before we go in depth in this issue with our prominent guests, so stay tuned.
The 21st Senior Officials Meeting of the Coordination Committee of the Africa-Arab Partnership convened on August 5, 2026 at the League of Arab States headquarters in Cairo, Egypt. Bringing together delegates from the African Union, the League of Arab States and regional financial and cultural institutions, the gathering focused on evaluating progress made since the 4th of Africa-Arab Summit held in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea in 2016. High-level delegations were led by His Excellency Ambassador Niamey Willy of Burundi on the African side and His Excellency Dr. Qahtan Taha Khalaf of Iraq on the Arab side. In his opening address, Ambassador Woli emphasized that 50 years after its inception, the partnership must transition from a forum for consultation into a platform for collective action. He underscored the vast economic potential of the combined 2 billion person population across both regions, urging delegates to focus on economic integration, connectivity, food security and peace and stability. Addressing operational hurdles, Dr. Steve P. Lalande of the African Union Commission noted that the partnership's primary challenges stem from implementation weaknesses, financing shortfalls, and limited follow-up mechanisms rather than a lack of political will. Nevertheless, Dr. Lalande highlighted key ongoing initiatives that demonstrate continued momentum, including the migration platform, the Africa-Arab Trade Fair aligned with the African Continental Free Trade Area, and the Disaster Response Fund. His Excellency Dr. Qahtan Taha Khalaf reaffirmed the strategic importance of socio-economic and cultural cooperation, while emphasizing joint diplomatic support for the Palestinian cause through a tripartite mechanism alongside the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. The session concluded with delegates reviewing ongoing programs, preparing for the upcoming 5th Africa-Arab Summit in Riyadh, and planning future high-level engagements, including the partnership's 50th anniversary celebrations in 2027.
Welcome back once again, and you're still on the Voices of the Continent, and to shed more light over the African-Arab cooperation in the light of the outcome of the 21st Senior Officials Meeting of the Coordination Committee of the African-Arab Partnership that was held in Egypt this month. We are much delighted to be joined in the studio by Dr. Mohamed Mokhtar Darwish, the International Relation and the Economy expert. A very good afternoon to you, Dr.
Yeah, good
Mohamed.
afternoon, and all your watchers on our our best channels is always Nile TV International.
Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure having you. Dr. Mohamed, can you tell me more about how can the Arab-African partnership transition form a constitutional form into a true platform collective after the 50 years, coming 50 years?
The Mohamed discussed several ways regarding to all the economies and the commercials needs to the Africa and the Arab Union, and dedicated what's feasing around all the world and what's happening, and feasing reference to Africa and what's happening related to the war in the Middle East and the war also is going in Gaza and the post-track and what's happening, that all had several affecting to the Arab Union and Africa, and dedicated especially for Africa needs several supports and several needs related to that regarding to the food files and medical and all that need of health also, of course, and them had to discuss the planning for coming 15 years. And as we're learning from the management, this must be happening and this must taken care. And this is show how is the deep of our president, of course, President Fattah al-Sisi, that we have taken care about Africa and taken care about to must have real visions and missions to the needs, reference to the needs and the requirements related to, of course, the Africa and Arab, and how to support together and put in hand to hand. And it's time to get enough war in Africa, and also a little bit have a stability and looking for the needs and the requirements, and try to dedicate it to add the businesses going as win-win situations, not one gaining from one part. And Egypt always supporting that reference to the needs of Africa. And as we have here in Egypt, for example, the mission for 2030, that we have the mission for coming 15 years related to Africa, related to economy, related to the commercial, a little bit to found something achievement related to that part of the world.
Well, Dr. Mohamed, also with a combined population exceeding the 2 billion, how effectively can this bloc leverage its demographic way to shape the global debates and probably the economic way?
Of course, it is a good investment to starting or to achievement of this amount of financial issue, but the importance to achieve the growth in reference to the needs of Africa and Arab Union related to that, and putting the schedule rotations related to achievement of this project, and to getting more supporting from internally from the union or outside it, reference to the all other by the whole world, from several organizations, UN and other, and of course in Europe, to supporting them to finalize and achievement this issue related to the needs of Africa. But I believe we need more working hard related to that, especially for investment, especially how to gravitate and let these places increasing economy, because the solution is in an economy, and the economy needs investment, and the investment need more financial issue to be have it, and also supporting all the developments or to creating business developments from inside it, from the countries and from abroad it, to put it in the two tracks, to getting more increasing, to getting more achievement related to those issues.
Well, also in your point of view, what makes Cairo such a critical venue for driving this updated African Arab agenda forward right now, especially?
As always, that's Egypt. Egypt, they make it the history. Egypt is taking care, and as the presidency has mentioned, Africa is a very hot line related to Egypt, and of course related to the growing, and if you have a stability, should be looking for your neighbors. Your neighbors, if there is something not gone to them, this will get me feedback on you. This is the visions of Egypt, and even the missions that's our president is working on hard related to that, and also the government try to supporting several type of solutions and opening several gates, and of course our Excellency Dr. Badr Abdul Ati, that he never sleep related to all the pushings and achievement to the needs of Africa and the needs also of the file of Gaza, and applauding what's happening in applauding, and as always Egypt getting to the voice to whole world, that is the solution is always in the peace, on stable, and to make the decision making by the African themselves, not to be dedicated or taken pushing from outside it. This, I believe, it's the solutions, and this is very shown up clear. Reference also of the deep and the geography of Egypt related to the places in Africa.
What are the concrete steps are needed to be taken, in your point of view, Dr. Mohamed, to translate the 4 key priorities, including the integration, the connectivity, the food security, the stability, into a tangible economic growth?
First of all, and what is the key, the solution, and the secret solution is an investment internally and externally.
Yes.
And to be having what we open it by Egypt Egypt had invited several African people to become to training from and taking the experience and knowledge from Egypt to getting back these people back to them.
Yes.
I mean, we found that in the military files and also the police files and several files of agriculture and all related to foods, also industries related to medical, and this is the solution. And the solution also on related to that, there must be have several investment, Egyptian, African investment internally with externally, reference to the needs, reference to the futures wise, and as being planning, and also reference to the point you've been mentioning in your asking and your regarding the questions is the solution, because this is what we say that is the secret and very quickly solution, deep on target, deep to achieve the things that we needed to finalize this part of issues related to that file.
And how can the African-Arab trade fair to be leveraged alongside to unlock the untapped trade corridors, in your point of view, as an economic expert?
As an economic, it should be as being scheduled, the meetings and the conference meetings, as we working in international companies and countries. There was a meeting agenda, reference to the meeting agenda. This is a date to open the subject and end it, and in the coming meeting this is still open it or closing, and to keeping forwarding all these matters is ongoing to achieve or not, and what is the problems and the trouble. And I believe we have several crisis management related to Africa dedicated with Egypt to finalize always the right solution with the less price and the deep on time to finalize this issue, to didn't have something bending, because this is the solutions, this is the quick solution we say it.
Absolutely, yes. The AU Commission has the representative, cited the implementation of the weakness as the main hurdle. Why has this follow-up has been so difficult?
These things I will mention, I will put you, because I'm involved in something related to that, related to Arab Union and Africa, regarding to commercial and these things. Related that this is several coming against in the countries related to some war, related to some stopping related to that.
Yes.
Something stopping the agenda internally, and always there is what we could say that several communication from outside of this country or other to finalize or stop or to changing the president, changing the government, and Egypt is taking care about these files and is always asking that's the solution, or again taking any decision as a part of this country, it's a part of Africa's peoples, not any other from to supporting them. And of course there is other trouble related to that problems is economy also, and the supporting related to economy, because we find in internationally it's dedicated also to the war. If there is time of investment or cooperating from Europe or the United States, for example, that cannot be as the same as being engaged related to that agreement. So it's become maybe less, but if they're getting less, that means that the project is not getting ended on the right time. This is the solutions, and I believe it. We always find several solutions related to that to achieve the things, because I tell you the secret, Africa is a piece of jewel. Really, it could be more than Europe, but if they're very well established, the project is starting on the right time, and the cooperation is going well, and the schedule isn't going right. If these things happen, you're going immediately
transfer to another place.
Yes, the environment, the substance, the people, everything is there, but need the management. Some people know the secrets and get the keys and the know-how.
Unfortunately, we got to the end. Dr. Mohamed Mokhtar Darwish, thank you so much for joining us, the international relation and the economy expert. Thank you so much. much
I
for
really
joining us.
appreciate it to be one of your guests for today.
Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, by this we come to the end of our episode of the Voices of the Continent. Many thanks for the watching, and stay tuned on the top of the hour for the latest news. Thank you for watching.